is my position is that I do not believe in the idea that George W. Bush, who was he's still alive, who is a Republican. I don't believe in that line of thinking that everybody need to get married. I don't believe that. I don't believe everybody's cut out for it.
Okay.
I don't think everybody's built for it. Black men, and in this case, black people. Black men, I don't think all black men make good husbands. I'll be silly to say something like that. I don't think all black women make good wives. Why would that would be disastrous to just put people together like that? I think what's best is for whatever life path you choose, you make sure you have a solid life plan to the end, whatever that's going to be.
Can I say this real quick? Okay, so we talked about George W. Bush, right? George W. Bush was like, everybody should be married. I don't think that. This white man, who is probably far more educated about the politics of America than the average black person, is literally telling you what America was designed for. Instead of black men saying, look, let me use it. It's like this. I'm going to use a Ferrari to tow a horse trailer. A Ferrari wasn't designed for that. So when you try to do that, you're going to have a lot of issues with that Ferrari trying to tow that horse trailer. The black man is like, I don't care what nobody say. I like the way the Ferrari, the black man is sassy. Okay. You know the term sassy? Sassy when you're defiant despite of facts and evidence right in front of you. We're sassy. We got the neck moving and we snatch air. I don't care what the white man say. I don't need to get married, right? Here's the thing. You don't have to take his advice, but then don't complain when America doesn't work for you the way it's working for him. Because everybody knows America was built for families and entrepreneurs. It's like somebody in America working a job. Don't complain about your job because America was not built to favor someone working a job. The people who founded this country were married entrepreneurs. So they made the country reflect what the circumstances or the environment that was best for them to gain wealth in. So if you want to gain wealth, the best thing for you to do is emulate what they were doing, right? That means get you a wife, start you a business, start you a couple of business, bust your ass 16 hours a day so that like them, when they got 50, when the life expectancy was only 60, they were able to relax at 50 and spend the last 10 or 15 years of their life chilling because they have built all this wealth. Because guess what? Their children, because they're very important, were able to then run the business so dad could chill. Do you realize we retire at 65? We're supposed to retire when our children turn 20. That's when you're supposed to retire. When your children hit 18 or even 16, you're supposed to go sit down and not do nothing because their entire childhood should be you grooming them to take over the family business. And what the black race in this country has done is we've abandoned the most productive model for gaining wealth. And we are dealing with the repercussions of that. And instead of saying, look, let's go back to the beginning. We trying to make all this new wisdom, all this new pseudo wisdom, all these different explanations for why it is the way it is. There's all these what ifs and all these reasons we could say, but the ultimate reason is this. You're using a model that is proven to be ineffective, trying to gain wealth in this country. Go back and use the vehicle that is most effective at producing wealth in this country. And guess what? Now your woman gotta want it too, and you gotta want it too. But even that dynamic is something that was basically the creation, right, of the circumstances that we went into versus doing what we wanted to do versus doing what we should have done. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, it needs to be pointed out that at present, right, as we speak, there are more married black men than black women, number one. Number two, when asked how many black men or whether black men or black women wanted to be married or in a relationship, it was actually black men who wanted to be in a relationship or married more than black women. So if we're going to talk about this, I think that we need to keep that in mind. As I said earlier, 2.5 million black men right now are in the upper middle class. 83% of them are married to black women. So the idea that black men are somehow, gun shy from marriage and all the rest of it is just not the data, the facts, the statistics, the research don't support it.
Okay, all I'm saying is if all that stuff is the telling sign of black men, then why do we have manosphere? If that is the, oh look, black men are marrying black women, then there should be no need for manosphere. All those dudes should just go talk to those rich black dudes. Hey, bro,
Well,
what did you do?
you're talking to one of the founding fathers, so I'm gonna tell you the reason why. As a blue collar brother, I got tired of being shitted on by college educated black women scapegoating me for why they're single. I didn't have anybody to speak for me, so I decided to speak for myself. Stop scapegoating brothers like me. Own up to the fact that you didn't make finding a husband like white women, Jewish women, Asian women do. You didn't make it a priority when you were in college and you were surrounded by the best of men. You didn't make it a priority. And by the time you did, you were too old for them. Those guys don't want to marry an old woman. I'm sorry. Those guys don't want to marry a woman with a dress size expressed in double digits. I'm sorry. Those men don't want to marry a woman that's already got kids. I'm sorry. Just accept it. Accept your lot in life. You didn't take advantage of the opportunity that was in front of you. The end.
Okay, I understand that, but if the college educated women don't want you and you're not college educated, or say you are, why don't you just go get the women who are not college educated?
Because I don't want those women. I would rather go it alone, and I have. I mean, I am a very successful. You're asking us enough a question now. I don't want those women. I am better than that. I will go it alone.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this. This is nature, man. Look, in nature, you don't see no animal like, oh, I don't want that group of females over there.
Bullshit. There's a whole bunch of animals that don't mate.
Listen, you never see in nature a male saying, I don't want this woman over there. I prefer this one. The thing is, reproduction is the key, because children also are a very fast vehicle to wealth too. Ask Asians. That's why their kids work in their shops, because your kid, you really don't even got to pay them, and whatever you give them, you could write them off on your taxes, and you could lie about that amount and get a huge tax deduction. Because
now you're asking me a different question. The
first I'm making a statement.
Why is the manosphere here? I gave you the reason why I did. I'm one of the founding fathers of the black manosphere.
I know.
I'm telling you the reason why I did what I did. I'm telling you why. Then you switched it up to another question. Well, why don't you go and get with the other women? Because I'm better than that. I don't share the same values with I don't share the same values with Donna the CNA. I don't.
Listen,
I don't. I'm curious. I like to read. I like to debate. I like to talk. I have upper class tastes. I don't share the same values.
But I asked the question. You answered it. Then I was making a statement. You jumped in the middle of a question. I did not ask another question. The question I asked was,
why did you get with women in your class?
Didn't you?
I'm telling you why.
Let's stop. Let's go. Let's refer to the moderator. Chez, did he not answer that question? He didn't want to, and blah 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 blah.
Well, and this goes back to my earlier point, because I think this is before you came on, Brandon, where I had mentioned how, I guess you would call it the Blue Henrys. I've heard them time and time again say, and you yourself, Mr. Obsidian, said that, like, you don't want women in your class because they act a certain way. So that was, something I wanted to ask about it of that imbalance, of blue and blue thing. Because would that be considered hypergamy, or would that be considered?
It absolutely is hypergamous. Joe Kennedy married a woman higher than this station. It happens all the time.
Okay.
But
so for me, an optimal woman would be highly educated, stunning, first lady quality, because I'm very ambitious.
Okay, can I say this? If you look at our country, the way it was modeled, most women married men who were above them. That meant men married women who were below them. Like I'm telling you, the black man in America cannot constantly blame what's going on with him on the woman when he's not using the model that has been proven to be the most effective. Let me tell you something about women. Women who are easily impressed are the easiest women. You know why? Because you don't got to do much to make them happy. The chick who only ate at McDonald's all the time, she's going to be very impressed by Sizzler.
So we're back. We're back to this point.
Why do you keep interrupting me? I accepted the first one. I accepted the last one. I accepted the last one. All I'm saying is, we're told that these are feminine traits. We're told that these are feminine traits. The alpha male, the alpha.
Okay, I'm sorry if I may. Can we just be clear to let each other finish speaking? If we can please do that, and try to keep it respectful. Okay, Brandon.
Let it be said that the man who's a beta has not interrupted anybody, but the alpha male has interrupted me every time. Can't stand to hear what I'm saying because I'm not some woman who he could shout over or basically blame everything on. The point I'm making here, hopefully without interruption, is this. When you get a woman, you need a woman who's willing to co-sign to your vision, right? A woman who is a nuclear physicist.
Nobody asked you advice, brother. Why are you giving advice when nobody asked you?
All right.
Nobody, this is not, how Pan-Africanism strikes back gives marital advice. Nobody's asking for your advice. The reality is there are more black men that are married than not. You asked why the black manosphere exists. I told you. You then asked, well, why don't you?
Why are you so emotional?
I told you.
Why are you so emotional?
Now
and that's
attacking me.
And that's exactly.
Attacking
and that's exactly. And that's exactly. And look, we can sum it up just like this. And that's how the white man control you because you know he got you by the emotional
argument. Here we go. Instead of dealing with the argument, instead of dealing with the facts.
Can I just talk without interruption?
Okay, you too.
Again. This is a cure looking for a disease. Most the majority of black men who are married at a higher rate than black women. There are more black men who want to be married than black women. This brother is barking up the wrong tree. Instead of trying to give the black manosphere a workout, he needs to go to the sisters and ask them why they don't want to get married when you got all these brothers out here who do and are eligible. That's who he really needs to be talking to if we're going to have that conversation.
10 minutes ago.
Secondarily, the question here wasn't about marriage. The question is about classism and whether conservatism can save Black America. That was the discussion. I weighed in on the question of class and related to something that has been percolating in Black American circles for decades. That's class-based. And that nobody has a problem with. Nobody has a problem with white-collar professional black women dumping on blue-collar brothers. Nobody's got a problem with that.
Right. Now, Brandon,
can we let the record show that not even 10 minutes ago this guy said it's not about color. Now he's saying black women. It's all about color. Like that, these guys don't know they're coming or going. I didn't say that. I'm talking to Stu. I didn't say this is not about color. All right. When I said that
you brought up white women, I ain't saying anything about color like that.
And you said, what does color have to do with it?
I said, well, what do white women have to do with it? You brought up I ain't white women. You did.
Okay, so I think this is good. I think we can maybe agree to disagree on some of these points. I know the topic here, to your point, was class and conservatism. I know you guys are both Black Republicans, so there is some agreement there. But I think we did segue into the conversation of relationships because obviously that is very connected with class and is also very much connected to some conservative values. So understand your point about marriage, Brandon. Again, that is something that I've heard, a lot of Republicans talk about the importance of marriage, family values. Again, and Mr. Obsidian, you shared your point about the manosphere, and although you yourself are a moderate Republican, why you don't necessarily see marriage needs to be pushed on men because they shouldn't be forced to have to marry a woman that they don't not
or black men or black women. I'm not saying all black women need to be married. Absolutely not.
Right. And then to Brandon's point, okay, if that's the case, then we can't complain if we actually experience issues economically when the model of success in America is primarily connected to marriage.
Well, you got to find another way to get it done.
Do we understand that conservatism is literally rooted in marriage? That's conservatism as we understand it today started in the 60s as a response to FDR's New Deal, and then everything that came out of that, and people felt like the values of America were being lost. Family, marriage, having kids, raising those kids, hard work, all these things. That is literally how the Republican Party became a conservative party. Why do you think it's rooted in the South, the section of the country that identifies the most with those values? So when someone says, I'm a conservative, but I don't believe in getting married, it's kind of like fundamentally divergent from the idea of even being a conservative. So that means that really, are we really what we think we are? You know what I'm saying? Or are we something else? But this fits best with what I want to do. Like conservatism is about family, having kids, all that. And that's why you see most people who are true conservatives, they are married, they usually got some savings, or they flat out rich, and they're mostly talking about ways to improve their situation that they can affect, right? Conservatism is rooted in personal accountability. If a conservative don't look for 1 minute, a true conservative, that's why I don't think all the Republicans are true conservatives, because they still try to blame Democrats and they don't ever come up with any ideas. That's why Democrat ideas dominate everything, the news cycles, because Republicans are like, we're waiting on the Democrats to make a mistake so we can jump on it and try to shame them for it, right? That's what we literally have in our society. Black men and women are not thinking of new ideas to move things forward. What we're doing is waiting for the other side to make a mistake so we could jump on that and say, see, this is exactly why, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. It just doesn't it doesn't progress you anywhere. It keeps you right where you're at. And that's why we've stayed right where we're at. And say someone like Kanye, right? That guy's crazy. The guy's also innovating. Jeff Bezos, he's not married, was married up until a year ago. You know what I'm saying? When he was getting where he went, he was married, because somebody had to watch them badass kids. Somebody had to make them sandwiches. Somebody had to come bring lunch to work when he had to pull an all-nighter. I'm not going to just dismiss women as a part of what we're doing, because everybody who got somewhere, maybe it didn't work out in the end. But the journey, they were definitely there. And that's the same thing with women. All these women, I don't need a man. Guess what? You're probably not going to end up like Jeff Bezos' wife, to where at the end you could be like, give me half your stuff, and now she's still rich based on the investment she made.
The vast majority of Black women are facing evictions at this point. So
yeah, which is interesting, because I know you had mentioned earlier, Mr. Obsidian, and this is all kind of connected, class, because I know you mentioned earlier, I think it's only 30% of Black folks who are in poverty, but there's also a large percentage of Black women who are being evicted. I don't know if you have the numbers behind that precisely.
Well, Black women are disproportionately represented. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I wonder, is it like?
No, he's right about that.
Yeah. No, I saw reports about that, because I know I was under the impression that, well, poverty, from my understanding, impacts women more, and especially single mothers, aka Black women, the most, because again, anytime you're trying to raise a kid outside of the context of a family or a marriage, you're on one income, there's going to be multiple problems associated with that.
I'm reading Black demographics right now, Black women statistics, and it says here, only 26% of Black women made 50 grand or more in the year 2018, and 40 compared to 48% of all women, and 29% of Black women were living below the poverty line, compared to 14% of all women, or in other words, twice
below the poverty line.
So again, again, we're barking up the wrong tree here. If anybody needs to be browbeat about why they ain't getting married and why they ain't doing what Dolly Madison and John Adams' wife did and all that, it's Black women, not Black women.
But we have an entire planet full of Black women. All I'm saying is, why waste 2 seconds addressing Black women who don't want to get the program? You can go move to Costa Rica. You could go to Costa Rica, impregnate a woman, and be like, look, let me just finish this statement.
It's about telling Black women. It's about telling Black women about
sassy.
Stop.
Okay, so no, you can finish your point, Brandon.
Stop scapegoating.
My wife don't even interrupt me this much.
Okay, if we will.
I already told you why. It's not about getting married. I'm not getting married. I'm not ever getting married.
You're just interrupting me.
It's about telling Black women about themselves. Stop scapegoating brothers like me.
You think they don't know who they are?
Own the fact that you had access to the best of men, and you blew it. Just own it. That's all I'm saying. Just own it. When these kind of topics come up for the ladies involved, this is what you say. I will write the script for you. You know what? When I was in college, I just wasn't focused on that. By the time I was ready to settle down, the men that I wanted didn't want men like me. That's all it means. It's nobody's fault. It's not racism's fault. It just didn't work out. That's
okay.
what.
So Obsidian, if for a second, Brandon, finish your point, please, without interruption. Then I'll go into the super chats. Then we'll keep it pushing. What was the point you're making, Brandon?
The whole thing is this. Say, for instance, you're a guy. I'm single. All this stuff. You could literally go into another country, meet a woman, impregnate her, have all the kids you want. Be like, babe, stay right here. I'm gonna go to America, sleep in my car, or rent a single apartment. Save every penny I make, send you pennies on the dollar to survive and live well over there. And by the time and go back and forth to visit, this is what people do. Mexicans, Asians, Africans, they all do the same thing. And you would be able to literally enter into the wealth bracket simply based on reducing your expenses and working hard, right? There are so many different ways to skin this cat now due to technology and the advancement, the technological advancements. At this point, if you don't got the reality you want, that's either based on being stubborn or simply just being not unintelligent, right? So all I'm saying is one of the things that can help this poverty situation is if we admit there's just a certain segment of us that's just not that smart, and they will weed themselves out. When I see someone talking about, I don't want kids and stuff, I say, that person probably don't need kids, and it's good because then their kid won't be around in 10 years to steal my damn wallet. You know what I'm saying? Let them go their own way. But if we really want to improve, come up in the economic the area of economics, right? As a people globally or whatever, or individually, there's a lot of different options. If you can't find an option for that to fix that, then maybe you're just not maybe it's just never going to happen for you. I don't see all this. Like, I'm a conservative, so I have zero time to blame somebody else. Like, I'm just going to be like, what can I do to fix this situation? Right? And that's why all Black people need to develop a certain level of conservatism, because the blame game ain't worked for us since the plantation, when we was like the white man did, the white man. How did that turn out? Not good. So now it's like the black woman. What is going to be next? The dog did it, and it's because the dog did it. The blame game don't work, and it never has, and it never will. So just do better. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea who he's talking about.
Damn, why you take everything personal?
Okay, so